สวัสดีค่ะ Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Aquaculture Webinar Week organized by Informa Markets. My name is June and I will be your moderator for today. So this is the last session of today. We already have, in this morning, we have the webinar on the topic technological innovation and development in aquaculture, and also update on the impact of COVID-19 on markets and trade by InfoFish. And we also have the presentation on the topic insect as feed and overview of insect-based nutrition in aquaculture by AFFIA. So this last session for today, we are here with our guest speaker, Dr. Dilip Kumar. He is the advisor of the Assam Fisheries Development Corporation, AFDC, and National Platform for Fish Workers Inland. He will be presenting on the topic production utilization of wasted saline affected lands through the culture of brackishwater fish and shrimp. So again, if you have any question, please feel free to drop in our Q&A box as below of the screen, and we will go through at the end of the session. So now please welcome Dr. Dilip.
Hello.
Yes. You may start the presentation.
Should I start? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. My screen is visible now?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Please share your presentation.
Yeah, I just to see the screen, it is visible or not. I just started.
Yeah, I saw your video already.
Okay, so should I start now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and all those participating in this webinar. Also, I'm thankful to June, our moderator or anchor, and she was behind that I should participate and I should come out with some of observations from India. So I decided to select this topic, which I thought would be of value or interest of many of our participants. First of all, I take pride, and also perhaps all those who are viewing this webinar or participating in this webinar must take pride that we are working for providing food to the humanity directly or indirectly, and that too by providing most nutritious and also super healthy food for the humanity. So with that, I am starting. I am starting with some of the areas which are called wasteland. It is not waste, but wasted land. And these are mainly due to the salinization of soil as well as water in some of the areas. And they become unfit for really for any crop. So these are, they turn into wasted land. So just we had certain intervention in these areas. And then after a series of experiments and also trials, they have come up with the proven technology, and that is really just helping these farmers, those who have really lost their everything. Now just to see, they have started earning back by using or utilizing these wasted saline affected lands through culture of brackish water fish and shrimp. Let me introduce that why these saline areas are formed. So this is formed by high soil salinity and high salinity of groundwater. Uh, it is mainly because of say irresponsible use of many places. It is irresponsible use of irrigation, uncontrolled irrigation, and because of that you see underground the salinity or that it is salts, it comes up on the surface and just you see near surface area. So
Dr.
and
Dilip, I'm sorry for
yes,
interrupt.
yeah,
But we cannot see your presentation. Have you shared your presentation yet?
yeah, that is why I asked you.
Well, we only see your.
Just a minute.
Yep.
So because of that I asked you. Let me see. Yes, share screen, and then just 1 minute. Uh,
Dr. Deeply, I can
yeah.
share live for you if you.
Okay. I just am putting it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So okay. So the cause of this soil salinity and also high salinity of groundwater, it is mainly because of irrational or use of irrigation water for growing crops. So and also due to many other human activity that has got major economic, social, and environmental consequences. And this salinity or inland saline water, it is showing an increasing trend over the globe and across the globe, and growing at an alarming level because of climate change and several other anthropogenic activities. So, however, wasted inland saline affected areas could be turned into productive asset through aquaculture. A variety of aquatic crustaceans and fish have been successfully just been grown in inland saline affected areas around the world. Just have a snapshot. So this secondary salinity affects about 300 million hectares of land areas in over 20 countries, including Vietnam, including Thailand. In Australia, salinity, over 60% of saline groundwater source range from 5 to 45 ppt. Exactly that, whatever we have, almost you see, parallel to the salinity usually observed in sea. In Vietnam, around 1 million hectares, about 3% of total land mass of soil, has been affected by salinization. In Thailand, inland salinity is prevalent in northeast region of the country. In India, about 8.62 million hectare land area is affected by soil salinity, out of which 40% saline affected areas are located in northwestern parts of the country, covering states like Haryana, Punjab, and Rajasthan. You see, it is a global phenomena, it is a global problem, and it is also something a global scale. It is occurring at something like at the rate of about 1.2 million hectare a year. So ground saline water constitute a serious challenge for agriculture. Rising water table and increasing salt content contribute to a just you see worrying loss of fertility of the soil and water, and reduced productivity and alienation of valuable farmland. So just to see, as I said, 8.62 million hectares of fertile agricultural land has been affected with the problem of soil salinity in India. And in total, 1.91 lakh square kilometer area is underladen with ground saline water. These saline water reserves represent a potential opportunity for development of inland aquaculture. You see that when you focus from outside, take a bird's eye view, it looks like that saline affected area, it looks like that. It is just on the left side of this slide, and the picture of that. And then right side, just I would like to say that it has got consequences which are at farm level and also at the regional level. At farm level, decrease in farm production, decline in resource productivity, and reduction in resource use. So these are the consequences at the local level, farm level. At the regional level, in the area level, it is displacement of labor from agriculture, because these becomes really turn out to be non-remunerative. Because of that, you see, the farmers, the laborers and farmer, they move from there. Widening of income disparity in the same area, the others, those who are not affected, their income is growing. At the same time, here the income is going down. So because of wide income disparities and adverse effect on sustainability of secondary and tertiary sectors. What are the main characteristics of these saline affected areas, and then how just we can manage it? Although the ionic, it is mainly the ionic composition. Although the ionic composition of saline groundwater generally reflects that of the seawater, very much similar to that, in general terms, the exact composition varies. This variability relates to the nature and timing of recharge and the nature of the withered materials between the soil surface and the bedrock, how it moves, how it gets accumulated. So it affects the nature of salinity. Deficiencies of potassium is consistent throughout. Potassium is much higher in seawater than what we see in saline water, salinized waters, the subsoil saline water. Besides, variability in total hardness, total alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium levels in the different parts of the world. In the whatever we talked about, in that area, we have a high level of calcium and also deficiency of magnesium. The C and Mg ratio is altered. This deficiency is primarily caused by the fact that potassium is preferentially taken up by cation and exchange sites in the clay soils. Hence, appropriate ionic manipulation protocol is required, and it has been developed and really also to be designed further to rectify the deficiencies prior to introducing aquaculture. See, these are, well, they're both some shellfishes and also fin fishes have been seen that, you see, they grow well. And then really based on just that experience, we have listed here some of the suitable species for inland saline aquaculture. These are barramundi or lettuce calcarifer, or we also call it sea bass, red drum, white leg shrimp, venami, tiger prawns, Peneus monodon, the western king prawn, genetically improved tilapia, the gift tilapia, gray mullet, milkfish, and pearl spot. So these are the species which can be grown. Now, utilization of salt-affected soils and ground saline water through aquaculture. In India, where we have started a long back, and then Let us see. We would like to see. We like to share that experience with all of you. So this is the map of India, where we have seen the different types of, just to see, salinity is reflected. So, and the distribution of the area, saline affected areas, this is shown in this map. And this was as per FAO 2000. And we have also in India one research institute completely fully dedicated to the development of saline soils. So just to see, they have been able to just map and produce this map. These are the states: West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Bihar, and Haryana, where just to see, we have indicated that you see, you are given the idea about how million hectare areas are available in this. In West Bengal, it is 2.18. In UP, it is 1.98. Punjab is 1.09. Bihar 0.71, and Haryana about 0.62 million hectare. You see, usually you will see that there are two types of picture. One picture, right hand side, you see, these are that you see, they have two twin problems. One is the soil salinity and also water logging. Right side, you see the soil salinity, and because of that, the entire topography and color also changes. It becomes completely arid, and just you can see patches of white salts just over the surface. So these are on the right side. And due to non-utilization of underladen saline water and regular charging with irrigation and rainwater, the water table in the affected area is increasing with alarming rate of salinity and increasing water logging. And you see that this type of water logging, where really you see the vegetation is hardly just growing, or most of the vegetations are lost. So these are the two types of something scene you will see in the saline affected areas. I would like to say that how just when we started and what is our experience, just to see, while using this saline water, ultimately for with the development of appropriate technologies. The first attempt was taken. We have a fisheries university under ICR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research System, located in Mumbai, called ICRCIFE. It has got a center, just to see, northwestern side in Haryana. Earlier it was the place called Sultanpur, where just to see, they were working on the salt affected area. And then so it was in Sultanpur area, and started working way back in 1982. By 1992-93, they came up with the successful cultivation of milkfish as well as the grey mullet. And the production was, it was just to see, quite good. And the production was about something like 4 tons. Average production was 4 tons per hectare per year. Although that you see, the getting seed of these two species was quite because there was no really hatchery, and so that commercial hatchery. So seed used to be collected from wild sources right from the south of India, and from there it was transported by air. And that place during 1993, you see, preliminary trials was conducted for the culture of brackishwater fin shellfish, like it was a Penis monodon, tiger shrimp. And then that was a trial, and then it was stocked at a very low stocking density. It was fed also. But we could see that the shrimp, it was not accepting feed as natural because of the low density. Natural feed was enough. And that time it grew at the rate of almost 11 gram per month. And then we harvested after 3 months. It was about 33 gram. And this harvesting was forced because in the month of November, the water temperature came down to about, say, 15 degree. And we saw that, you see, the mortality encountered. Because of that, it was harvested. But this was the first trial that gave us the confidence that shrimp can survive, shrimp can grow in this area, and now we need to work further to develop a appropriate package of technology. Then further, this effort, it was that the center was relocated a place called Rohtak in 1996, but from 2006 they started working again on it, and then they have come up at this center. Now they have come up both. There was a successful, after several trials and error, so a successful technology of Venus monodon, and subsequently a technology for that white leg shrimp was also developed there. So major technological innovations we like to see, that commercial farming of tiger shrimp first in inland saline water, commercial farming of Pacific white shrimp, venomite in inland saline groundwater, giant freshwater prawn. It was giant, you see, underground saline water was used. In this area, in northern area, the cost of prawn is very high, but we can rear, but we cannot really grow, because we can grow but cannot really breed it. So for breeding, it requires salinity up to 12 ppt. So this saline water was used for breeding and hatchery operation of Microbium, rosenbergi, and then because of this also just became culture of Microbium also became popular in freshwater ponds. Then grow out culture technology of Indian major calves at wherever low salinity up to 4 ppt, 3 ppt, then that was also developed. And then Pangasius was also tried, and culture technology for low inland salinity, Pangasius was also found successful. And and the other one that you see, when we started breeding and here temperature used to go very low, in that case, just to see the brood, there was no proper gonadal development of this. Because of that, just to see, technology was developed using this creating greenhouse, polyhouse, so that that used to maintain a higher temperature during winter months, and because of that, just to see, it was possible to grow matured gravid female by February or early March. So this is one of the snapshot. This just to see one of the area that was converted into pond. So technology for commercial production of white shrimp and commercial cultivation of tiger shrimp. Now, here the management of pond, that is very important, where it is mainly the ion management. So ionic management here, in fact, there are two very important. This ionic management plays a key role in inland saline water aquaculture, as inland saline water deficient in major mineral composition in comparison to coastal seawater. So water quality varies from location to location, and because of that, it requires site-specific protocols to amend deficient minerals. So this one, the deficiency of potassium is rectified by means of, say, applying muriate of potash, and the deficiency of magnesium is rectified by application of magnesium chloride. The deficiency of calcium is rectified by applying calcium carbonate or calcium chloride based on water pH. But that was not really a problem in this area. But wherever you will have to just to see a calcium deficiency, you need to apply this calcium carbonate. Manuring, for the pond production manuring was, this is once the deficient ions are amended, the pond water is usually fertilized using organic slurry comprising of rice bran 50 kg, yeast 500 gram, and molasses 50 kg per hectare. And the maximum needs to be and then you see, prior to application, the mixture needs to be fermented for about 24 to 48 hours before the application. So magnesium you need to apply whenever farmers find muscle cramping in the shrimp and whitening of muscle. It is advisable to apply magnesium chloride at the rate of 10 kg per acre. Here it is per acre, means 25 kg per hectare for a short while, up to 5 to 7 days until the problem is rectified. Calcium, usually calcium deficiency won't occur in inland saline water. If it occurs, can be rectified applying calcium chloride or calcium carbonate, at least to maintain calcium at 120 ppm at lowest salinities. Now, feeding management. Feeding plays a crucial role in aquaculture, in this saline water aquaculture, as just we are maintaining a relatively higher stocking density. And then it is the profit functions depending upon the growth, and you will have to see that how much profit you are going to earn. So because of that, it is always a feed-based activity. Generally, commercially available feeds are used for aquaculture, mainly produced by Avanti Feeds, CPF, then IB, Grovel, and Chen Long. These are some common feed producers, brands, and then they are providing quality feed. The feeding management is followed as per the description below in the table. And also, just to see, it is also provided by the respective feed company. Blind feeding protocols followed for a starting initial 30 days. After that, feeding is calculated based on the body weight of the animal, estimated biomass, and tray consumption. So you see, usually when we have a 1 to 2 gram, it is 15 to 10%, 10 to 15% minimum. Yeah. Then 3 to 4 gram, then 75 to 6.3, 5 to 6 gram, it is 5.2 to 4.3, 10 to 15, if it is 3.8 to 3, and when it is 60 to 22 gram, it is 2.8 to 2.5. But usually just we harvest at the when it reaches that 25 gram. Yeah, and then feed is applied about 4 times, as just to see other places also 4 times in a day. Overall observations, suggestions is there. It is that the average harvest size obtained in our region is around 20 to 30 gram, with an average productivity of 2.3 to 5 tons per acre. It is per acre, not hectare. So if you want to hectare, then just to see, multiply by 2.5 at a stocking density of 30 to 60 numbers square per meter. However, it is observed that you see ideal stocking density of vanami is about 30 numbers per square meter for obtaining maximum profitability with minimum inputs and lower risk. In case of monodon, you see it is about 10 to 20 numbers per square meter, but and then there that you see it is something like 2 to 3 tons, usually 2 to 3 tons. Productivity is relatively less, but price is much higher. Price is about 25% higher than vanami. And then in case of monodon, we used to get something like about 2 to 3 tons per hectare per crop. Now, per acre per crop. Yeah. So then how this, after that you see several cycles of trials, then this was disseminated. It was just to see farmers were involved, field based, farmers based also. Trials or demonstrations were conducted. So the trials on the technology and dissemination were initiated in the year 2014 in around 20 acres in the Rohtak and Hisar districts of Haryana. Wide-scale technology demonstration and intensive training programs was also conducted to the state fisheries officers and also some just to see entrepreneurs and then innovative farmers, which led to widespread adoption of the technology in the state of Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, and New Delhi, and also just to see some parts of Uttar Pradesh, UP. In 2019, about 450 plus farmers from different states, they have adopted the technology in about 1,000 acres with production estimates to be nearly 2,000 tons with an average productivity around 2.2 tons per acre. So it comes to around something like about 5 to 7 tons per acre, per hectare, per crop. So potential for future is, if you see, if 1% of potential area of 22,000 hectare is brought under shrimp culture within next 5 years in these 4 states, it can create economic activities worth rupees 6,600 crores gross returns. 1/3 of this would be the farmers' share as income, net income. So net income is almost 1/3. So this has the potential of generating employment for about 220,000 people directly and about 110,000 people indirectly. You see, it gives the flow, it gives the trend. In 2014, just to see, it started. You see, this is the production area and this is the production in tons. And gradually within, see, 5-6 years, now it has gone. Such a, just to see, a steep progress is here, and it is becoming so much popular. And these are some of the farmers. They have started, and they are happy to sow their crop. Economics, if you consider the economics of Indian inland saline shrimp farming in inland salt affected areas is almost a revolution in the making and a true testimony to the saying wealth from the waste. The average per acre yield was 3.2 tons with net profit of 3 lakh rupees, 3,15,000 from a culture period of per acre from a culture period of 100 days, and where just to see it is very easily possible to, or they are getting about 2 crops in a year. So 2 years is a payback period for that, you see, capital investment, pond constructions, and then other infrastructure facilities development, etc., and the cost of equipment, etc. So benefit cost ratio is 1:1.37, and internal rate of return is about 56%. So microbiome farming in also, it is possible that you see using these saline water, it is possible to produce seed of microbiome in this area, in northern area, which is far from sea, or that you see the rivers going and meeting the sea, where we have a natural wild seed is available. So in this area, it is possible if we use this saline water, and for just to see rearing or gonadal to ensure proper gonadal development, so that you can use the use during that, you see, it's a season comes when March onward. It is such type of poly houses are required over the pond to control the temperature. So, but still there are certain challenges. This is unregulated movement of input. These inputs are coming from coastal area. Oh, so unregulated movement of inputs into the inland saline areas, mainly post larvae, first of all, post larvae, without quality check, has become a serious biosecurity issue. Because here, just simply they go, they don't see because it is far out, about 2,000 kilometers or 3,000 kilometers. So just to see, it is just to see, you order over telephone and they send you, so you are not very sure about the quality of the post larvae. And farmers and entrepreneurs involved in inland saline shrimp farming are relatively new to the field and less experienced. The response we have seen that you see, sharing of knowledge and making aware the hard lessons learned by all the stakeholders of brackish water shrimp farming sector means a forerunner is a very important. And then long-term environmental implications we must see, that expected implications in the long term on the abiotic, biotic, and human components need to be evaluated, and the strategies have to be formulated to really to prevent that you see any long-term implications. One more thing is very important. While the just as the coastal area or coastal shrimp aquaculture, they cannot see that they can't say that this area is completely sterile. But on the other side, uh, here in this landlocked, isolated area where we have a saline water available, whatever culture we are doing, it is really, we can say that you see, it is a specific disease-free status. Only thing, the only source is if we can get through by the seed we transport from there, from those hatcheries. If the seed is free, then this entire culture operation is complete. It is a highly biosecured area. uh, so, but in the meantime, they have also seen that you see we need to develop additional production stage. Means you rear up to juveniles, and after that you stock in the pond. So this has also been tried and seen that you see an additional production stage is quite useful in for the survival and also economic benefit you are getting from there. So this is a management tool to increase the growth of shrimp and shorten the production cycle, and improve biosecurity measures, and second level tier of quarantine. Also, when you get the seed from outside, it is better if you are rearing, so you are just keeping them in a quarantine facility. So it requires a focused training and capacity building of in terms of humans involved in that, and also infrastructure facilities also. And one thing is that you see, it is encouraged, the farmers are encouraged to go for cluster farming, so that you see common infrastructure facilities they can develop. And in that case, that you see, there will be a better health management practices can be enforced, and implementation of biosecurity measures will be easy. So a regulatory framework, because you see, if we continue like this, we will have to see how it is going to really just respond to the environment. So for that, a regulatory framework needs to be designed and implemented for the development and promotion of aquaculture in inland saline areas, and how just we are going to dispose the waste from aquaculture. And we need to, for that, we need to adopt a multidisciplinary approach put forth by the countries affected by inland salinity, such as in Australia. That would be quite useful. So instead of developing a single species dominated, a standalone intensive farming practice, aquaculture may also be considered as an integrated agriculture production system to achieve long-term sustainability. And also, thus, we also need to see the or encourage farming of some fin fishes like sea bass. These are high valued species, and the mullet. So thank you. And this all just I wanted to share with all of you. And I'm very happy if you have questions for me.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Dilip. This
Yeah,
is a very, very useful information. I believe that our attendee, they are interesting and happy about that. So here's come, we have like a 4 minutes left for
yeah,
the session. So we are going to do the Q&A. So if you, just to remind our lovely attendees, if you have any question, please drop in the Q&A box and I will ask Dr. Dilip. Okay, so first question.
yeah.
Uh, uh, I think it's from India. So he asking that do shrimp could be cultivated in hill area? The area is affected by snowfall.
Uh, there it would be difficult because most of these species, like I just told you during that when our trial was there with monodon, as soon as the water temperature just to see touch 15 degrees centigrade or less, there was the mortality. The same is also true with venomai also. But and then also some of these like but I don't know mullet, but some of the fin fishes can tolerate a little, but not really. Just if it's a sub-zero temperature, then it would be difficult. Only thing that some of the cold water, but I do not know cold water species, especially in India, we have rainbow trout, and that is the most common one. But I don't know. It's but I don't think that they can tolerate that much of salinity.
Okay, so another question is from Mr. Wilson. I think he is the old friend of you. He said he met you during our aquaculture exhibition in Canter.
Yeah, so you are the common point linking
Yeah,
ourselves. Yeah, all of us
yeah,
together. Yes.
yeah. So he is asking that is growing shrimp inland means less prone of getting disease?
Oh, here we have no disease incident, but in sometimes it has happened, and it came only with the seed that was transported from the coastal area about 2,000 kilometers. Here nothing. It is not interconnected. All these because it is we are using groundwater. It is not a flowing water. So because of these, all these culture areas are not interconnected. It's all isolated. Only source is for that you see with the all of the pathogen comes with the seed. So once or twice it has happened because it was not thoroughly checked, and because of that I also mentioned that this is also a really the problem we are encountering, that you see how to regulate the quality of input, including the seed.
Yeah. Okay, the next question will be, this is quite a long question. So,
Yeah,
so he's asking in Baramandi or sea bass, we need
yeah,
to overcome the problem of seed availability, cannibalism, size differential in growth, long, long duration of culture period, and inconsistency in the performance of available pellet feeds. Therefore, can these species be recommended since they are highly management intensive and expensive to culture?
yeah. This one, it is not only in this saline affected soils, but the whatever problem he has raised, it is really very true. Also with coastal aquaculture, wherever shrimp aquaculture we are doing, after the collapse of the because of the WSS and other diseases, there was always a recommendation that we should diversify aquaculture And then sea bass or barramundi was considered to be one of the most potential species. We did it, but whatever, even there also we have the same problem. The commercial in India also, although they are producing, but I would like to say if these hatcheries are not in private sector. Private, it means that indicates that it is not at commercial say level, it is not economically viable. If it is economically viable commercially, many private sector will can come and take it up. And because of that, many private sectors have not, it requires further refinement, then only we will be able to address or solve the say problem of seed unavailability. But whatever he has told, the other factors also, it is exactly the same with any typical say culture of sea bass in in brackish water aquaculture. But we have not tasted it. We have not tasted it. And then you see the farmers, they want that is high valued species. So this shrimp has got a high value. It is almost 400 rupees. 400 rupees is almost about $7-8 per kilo. While the barramundi will be something like 3, 4, half or say less half, about 2/3 of this price. So that way they are interested in this one. And besides the problems what he has explained, this is also a problem lying with if you go for barramundi culture in these months. But there is possibility that you can do it.
Okay, I think that we got a clear answer on that. So for the next question, I think we only I just go to only 2 questions. Okay. The next question will be water discharge from pond after shrimp harvesting is one of the major problem in inland saline area of Haryana and Punjab, India. So what is the solution for above mentioned?
No, that I mentioned that this is a problem, but fortunately here it is not really. These ponds are not drainable ponds, so it is not that we are discharging water. We are just to see outside. These are not. So after that it gets, but by the side we have some areas where we are putting. But in the long run, it is going to become a major issue. That I mentioned also, just in the long run it is. So because of that, we are asking them to have a cluster, so that when cluster based approach is there, we need to see that how best we can, maybe that all are put together, and then after that it is dried up, and after that from there we are separating salt from there. So some sort of something, some measures will be taken up, but at least it is not at currently, but certainly it is bound to come during next 10 years or 8 years.
Okay, so here's come to the last question. And if any question that haven't been answered during the session, I will pass the question back to Dr. Dilip, and he could answer back to you directly via email. Okay, so the last question will be, what is the relation between oxygen consumption and ammonia excretion in shrimps?
Exactly what is here in saline water.
Yeah.
In saline area.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Not much of difference. It is exactly what is there in say coastal area shrimp aquaculture. More or less the same is happening here also. Not much of a specific difference is only with availability of the potassium or deficiency of potassium and calcium magnesium ratio. So because of that, now just to see, calcium is high, but calcium magnesium ratio is not high. This is the only difference there.
Okay, so I think the attendees got a very like useful information already. So I would like to say thank you to Dr. Dilip Kumar to be our guest honor for our aquaculture webinar week for today. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, June. Thank you so much
Thank
to
you.
you and also all participants. Really, I am not able to see them, but really I extend my thanks to all of them.
Thank you ค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ so just to remind our attendees that tomorrow we also have the last day of our aquaculture webinar week. We will have 2 sessions with Mr. Mark Campbell. He is the Asia Aquaculture Business Developer from ADM Animal Nutrition. He will be representing on probiotic use in shrimp farming and innovative approach. And the last session will be from Mr. Willie Cruz. He is the Regional Director from Bureau of Fishery and Aquatic Resources Regional Office number 3. He will representing on the topic Philippines Region 3 Aquaculture Overview amidst COVID-19 pandemic. And also, just to remind you all again that we are going to have Livestock e-marketplace is an online exhibition that you could have a business matching and you can have one-to-one call with our exhibitor directly. So the Livestock e-marketplace will be held on 24 until 26th of November. So please stay tuned with us. Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ